God. Today on DNVR Buffs Live, Cliff Hill joins the show again. Cliff Hill joins the show again. We're still talking recruiting. KJ Edwards says RBU is coming to see you shortly, and Shedeur Sanders gets his jersey number. Let's go.
Let's get it.
Coming to you live from the Toyota Lounge, driven by your Front Range Toyota stores. It is DNVR Buffs Live. Tons to get to today. We're going to talk some Shedeur. I know people have been wanting that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about him getting his number. Big 12 coaches talking about his draft slide. Did you read that?
Is that from Rittenberg?
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't get to read it, but I saw it.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
Some more recruiting stuff. And then the man, the myth, the legend is back. Cliff Hill joining the show, coming off a massive, the biggest recruiting weekend in the last year or so. Go ahead and bring him in.
Coach.
What's up, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Great, bro.
Hey, we doing well, Coach. I know you've been a busy man. We was talking about a little bit before the show. You've been road running from place to place,
Yeah.
program to program. What you been up to? How things going for you?
Racking up frequent flyer miles for sure. Going good, man. Going real good. It's a good season. It's a little bit of a crazy season with the settlement looming and all those things, but it's been very interesting.
No doubt about it. Obviously, like Jake mentioned at the top there, you were in Boulder, Colorado this past weekend, with Coach Prime, with the Buffs recruiting staff, with a couple of your IMG guys, Breck, Kolojay, Jake Kreul, who we had the pleasure of talking to yesterday on the show, and obviously a handful of other, four-star blue chip players in Colorado. What was the weekend like in Boulder this past weekend, Coach?
So it's always a great weekend, and the weather was perfect.
It was.
All the kids excited on the visit. My kids and the other kids. Colorado does a fantastic job with their OVs. Malika does a phenomenal job. Coach Box is the man, and Reggie Calhoun, he does a fantastic job for them too. So they do fantastic. It's always a good visit.
Coach, we spoke to Jake Kreul yesterday. I mean, just an awesome kid. I mean, seemed really mature beyond his years, and completely deserving of that 5-star rating so far. When they got back to you after this visit, was it something that was this like unexpected? What happened at Colorado? Is there, maybe some things out there that, they've heard from other people that just, it didn't line up with what they actually experienced over the weekend last weekend? Was that anything that surprised them in that way?
So I spend a lot of time with these guys, and they know that I always talk about how good the Colorado OVs are. So it still exceeded their expectations. It's one of those things you can kind of talk about, but until you get there and go through it, and it's absolutely beautiful city and beautiful stadium, and the facilities are great. There's always, the kids always love meeting Coach Prime, and the coaches are very personable. So I do think it exceeded their expectations, truly.
Coach, talking a little bit more about Jake. He was telling us yesterday that, trust is going to be really important to him when he's deciding, on which school he wants to go to. And obviously he still has, 4 official visits, this summer. And, he told us that he's not in any rush on trying to make his decision or his commitment. He's looking at, probably an October kind of date for that. How do you think you go about building trust in those kind of settings when you have kind of, limited time to be around, a coaching staff, potential position coaches? How have you kind of seen, on multiple visits, maybe in other programs, kind of how that process kind of best goes about gaining trust between recruit and coaching staff?
So the majority of that's done through phone calls, other visits. Only a small amount of it's done on an OV. Now, one thing they do on an OV, you'll go to a position room and the coaches will go through your tape. They'll go through their tape on how they run a defense or an offense. And really, both sides are trying to see how they fit together. But most of the trust is over the phone, conversations, text messages when they show up at their school. So the OV part of the trust thing is probably 5 or 10% of it.
Got you.
Coach, I kind of want to ask you about, OVs and the difference between all these different type of visits that guys can come on. Like, what's the impact that this last weekend, these OVs can have compared to, just a regular unofficial visit, maybe a spring game visit or a game visit in the fall?
So, these kids, especially as good as they are, like they've been wined and dined and all these things for a long time. And when we go into these OVs, I make sure that they know, okay, it's game time. Like, here we go. Like, dial it in, ask any questions you have, all these things. So the OV, it does change gears, and it is very important. And they do come back with a lot of information that they don't have, because I think the coaches also understand, time is of the essence.
You were obviously here this past weekend with Breck, the really talented offensive lineman down there at IMG. I'm sure you and him were spending time with kind of the offensive line coaches here at Colorado, because that's kind of a unique situation, right? Where there's not just one offensive line coach. There's 3 different guys. Obviously, Andre Gerard, who played in the NFL, Gunnar White as well. So I'm just curious kind of what your perspective is kind of being in those rooms with those guys, just how that can potentially be an asset, having multiple guys to kind of bounce ideas of and learn from in one position room.
Well, I think one good thing with Dre and Coach Gunnar is they've got different backgrounds. They played at different levels. And so it's always good to have 2 opinions. Now, you need to form one strong opinion and go with it. But I think when it comes to techniques, that when you have 2 guys with the experience like what they have, with technique, you can really get a lot of additional information and teaching than maybe with just one person.
Cliff, with Jordan, London, and Alex already being in Boulder, I'm just curious, what's the impact, when you bring 2 more guys who are really close, like Breck and Jake, out to Boulder on these OVs, what's the value of just being able to look back and have, guys like Jordan, of course, but guys who are kind of do it up, like London and Alex were last year, with Breck and Jake coming in do it up this year.
So that's our expectation. We expect wherever we go, it's going to be an impact. And that's not just at Colorado. Like, these kids can go to any college in the country. And wherever they go, the expectation is at the end of spring, you're in the 2 deep. And then, you're pushing throughout the season to try to get on the field. And then you're taking that spot at least next year. So their expectation is to get there and play. And they're seeing Alex in London fulfill some of that. And I think it's all it's a great spot for these guys to be in.
It's kind of a great segue to my next question, Coach. You're obviously able to get back with a couple of your guys, London and Alex, who are already at Colorado as early enrollees, have gone through spring football and whatnot. What was it like catching up with them, and what have you kind of heard from them about their kind of experience this spring and kind of how spring football finished up for them?
So that was my favorite part of the trip, was seeing my guys. And because you go through all this stuff with them throughout the year, and to watch to go from talking to schools to visiting schools to now they're in the program, they're getting stronger, bigger, showing me, lean mass statistics and all these different things. And so it's fantastic to catch up with those guys. You really become close to them because you travel the country with them and you make life-changing decisions with them. So that was my favorite part of the trip. But and I think the guys that I bring see that, and they get to talk to Alex in London, and those two guys are having a fantastic experience in Colorado. So there's no like, well, here's how it really is type thing. Like, it's all good.
Would you say that's arguably the most impactful thing that a recruit can hear? Because it's one thing to hear from, the coaching staff, but it's an entirely different thing. And Jake kind of alluded to it yesterday. The players aren't going to lie to you, right? Like, they're going to give you the real. And if they're not really excited about their spot, they're probably not going to be able to hide that. Is that arguably the most important, impactful thing that a Jake Kreul or Breck Kolojay can hear on one of these visits, just hearing the glowing reviews from the guys who have already been in it?
So I think what it does, it kind of gets to the point of trust but verify. So, and when you have someone that you've, gone to school with for a year or two, and that and they don't have a reason to tell you anything except the truth. So you get to verify everything that's being said by coaches and support staff and everything else.
Sure.
I mean, Cliff, you've been a busy man. You've been out here quite often over the last, 6 months or so. When's the next time we can expect you out here?
I'm not sure. So I've got a couple guys coming this weekend, both 4-star kids. There's another potential offensive lineman coming out for an OV, another 4-star kid, a potential 4-star D lineman, and another potential 4-star corner. So I really don't know. I assume probably once before the season, maybe, and maybe once during the season, because I do like the guys to see game day experience there. It's a fun time for them.
Most doubt about it. One last thing, I guess, for you, Coach, actually about the offensive line coaches. Coach Hilo as well. You mentioned him briefly last time you were on the show, but probably getting to spend a little bit more time with him this weekend alongside Jake. What are your impressions of Coach Hilo as he kind of steps into that new role, leading that edge room here this fall?
Great. Like, I think he was a fantastic addition when they brought him in, last year. I sat and watched how he diagrams out defenses. Like, he's going to be a great coach. He knows enough defense, I think, for a lot of the teams in the country. He could be their D coordinator.
Facts.
Awesome. You got anything else for Cliff?
I think we should be good.
All righty, Cliff. Appreciate you, man. It's an exciting time in Boulder. Love seeing, you guys coming out here and the frequency with which you come out here. I mean, shoot, you guys may have to get like a little apartment or something at some point, man.
A little B&B.
Well, I told Alex in London that next year when they get their new apartment to get an extra room for me. So
there you go. Awesome, man. Well, we'll talk to you soon, Cliff. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, Coach.
All right,
See you
thank
soon.
you, guys. Yes, sir.
There he goes. All right. We'll take our first break. We'll kind of dig into that, a little bit more recruiting stuff. We got to talk about KJ Edwards' comments from yesterday, because that was
a lot.
That was towards the end of the show.
Yeah.
We didn't really get to we touched on it briefly, but that deserved more time. So let's take our next break and we'll get to it. Shout out to the homies over at Lucy Nicotine. Whether you're hitting the golf course, the ballpark, or just hanging outside doing whatever this summer, make sure you got your Lucy's on you. It's always 100% pure nicotine, always tobacco free. You can get the pouches, you can get the breakers that has a little capsule in there, gets you some extra flavor. You can also set up a subscription with Lucy as well. I prefer the mango. You can get a whole sample pack though as well and try. I think they have like 6-7 flavors. RK's a big mint guy. But level up your nicotine routine with Lucy. Go to lucy.co/DNVR. Make sure you use that promo code DNVR when you're there, and you'll get 20% off your first order. Lucy also has a 30-day refund policy if you change your mind. Again, that's lucy.co, and use code DNVR to get 20% off. Lucy products are only for adults of legal age, and every order is age verified. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
And shout out to the squad over at Empire today who completely renovated, remodeled our floors here at the bar and just got them sparkling, looking absolutely beautiful. And that's exactly what Empire today could do for you at your home. Because just like your favorite team needs a home court advantage, your home needs a home floor advantage. And Empire today can help you get that. Empire today has flooring experts, dedicated flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day. Those big box stores, they might have a flooring department, but the person helping you with flooring, they might have been doing sinks yesterday and could be stocking light bulbs tomorrow. But Empire today, they're not like those big box store, because Empire today lives and breathes flooring, and they will be with you every step of the way. It's a whole different ball game. With Empire today, you get clear, upfront, and all-inclusive pricing, plus you can schedule installation as soon as the next day. Schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are just better at home. DNVR listeners can receive a $350 discount when using promo code DNVR. Yes, you heard that right. $350 discount with code DNVR. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday/DNVR for full details.
Well done, Scotty.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, shout out to Cliff, though. Sounds like there's going to be some surprises coming soon, which is exciting.
Yeah, man.
And this IMG Pipeline, man, this is literally going to define the future of Coach Prime in Colorado football.
No doubt, man. And I love how he goes, that was my favorite part, just catching up with my guys.
I mean,
and not only catching up with my guys,
yes,
knowing that they are in a spot that they are happy and that they're thriving. And that's what makes this IMG to Colorado pipeline so real and so tangible, and why this 2026 class, like we mentioned in the headline, could really potentially change everything for Colorado. Because you got Jordan Seaton in here, right? And that was a massive win in itself.
Right.
But not only were you able to get him in Colorado, bro was a freshman All-American. Started every game as a true freshman. So did Cash Cleveland. Obviously, we know what happened to him, but that was another proof of concept that you can go from IMG straight to Colorado into the starting lineup.
I mean, he went to Colorado, played, and got a bag. Like,
the proof is in the pudding.
there could be worse ways to go.
The proof
about
is
it.
in the pudding. And then this year, you know, you're looking at it, Alexander McPherson and London Merritt, at least this spring, we're in the 2 deep. London Merritt was getting first-team reps during the spring game after only being on campus for 3 to 4 months. That should give Jay Kreul and Breck, Kolojay, and whoever else coming from IMG, potentially some guys who might be visiting this weekend, Boulder, let Coach tell it, that Colorado is a place that I can go thrive and thrive right away. That I can go to Colorado and I can get more better opportunities, NFL opportunities. I think that's the most impressive thing, because it's one thing to get these guys in the building, but it's another entire thing for Alexander McPherson and London Merritt to be happy and to be telling the next generation of IMG guys that this is a spot. This is a spot that you want to be. You're going to be taken care of over here. That's massive.
It just makes sense. I mean, kids go to IMG to get ahead, right?
Yeah,
Because you can kind of get a jump start on your college career there. So why not get a jump start on your NFL career? Go to CU, where you've got pro coaches everywhere.
Is Colorado the IMG of college football?
They're trying to be, obviously. We'll see how soon it becomes that, though.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about KJ Edwards. So yesterday, again, this came out right at the end of the show. We briefly touched on it, but KJ Edwards is a 4-star 2026 recruit, high 4-star, by the way. This guy's on the fringe of being a 5-star player in this upcoming recruiting class. 42nd overall player, 3rd-ranked running back out of Carthage, Texas. He spoke to Steve Wiltfong at On 3 and gave some quotes on his time, with Jake Kreul, Brett Kolojay, and all those guys who were visiting Boulder this last weekend. He said, "My time being in Colorado was good, and the view with the mountains towering the stadium, which being a Texas boy, you hardly see any landscape like how it is in Boulder, Colorado. The main message was they can use me right away just because I can play any position on the field, and I'm an overall complete running back. They play their freshman kids as long as they work their butts off for a starting position. The coaches that are there have spent many years in the league, so they know what they're talking about and understand the game of football. And with Marshall Faulk coming in RBU will be coming to see you shortly. What a quote.
Like I said yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. You say something like that, you got to be sliding. You got to be coming. Can't be playing with a quote like that. But I mean, it's only a matter of time before we start seeing the impact of Marshall Faulk. And unless you
100%.
think that Marshall Faulk isn't going to have an impact, it's a matter of time. And we might start beginning to see, evidence of that here with that legendary quote.
Yeah.
RBU coming to see you shortly. He ain't say in the future. He ain't say down the line. He said shortly, soon, ASAP. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And again, KJ Edwards is really one of them ones. 4,000 career rushing yards through just 3 seasons of high school.
First down a touch.
First down a touch. Over 3 years, averaging over 11 yards per carry. He mentioned it there in the quote that they think I can play any position on the field. He's right. Bro has what? He is a Marshall Faulk type of running back where you can throw him the football, you can line him out a receiver, he can run routes, and he can obviously tote the rock, as good as anybody in the class of 2026 right now. So that quote is not nothing, I don't think. And again, it's only a matter of time before Marshall Faulk we start seeing the impact of him. And it's part of the reason why I really like DeKalen Taylor and his prospects for this year, because he is quite literally only running back on this roster that Marshall Faulk had a hand in bringing to Boulder, Colorado. Everybody else he kind of inherited, which isn't a bad thing, but Marshall Faulk was involved in bringing DeKalen Taylor to Colorado. And whoever comes behind him, Marshall Faulk is going to have a hand in, and that's going to be interesting.
No doubt, man. He'd become the highest rated running back recruit
Easy.
in recent CU, at least in this era, easily. He's like 100 spots above Dylan. But I said all this earlier in the week, I think, or when we previewed the visit, but his OVs, he's just got 3.
Interesting.
It's Colorado, Texas, and Baylor. And he is a Texas kid. But he wants to kind of get this wrapped up, I think, man.
Really?
He's got a commitment date set on 247 of August 2nd.
Yeah. He says shortly.
He said shortly.
Shortly.
Now, look, we can get into trouble reading into quotes, especially quotes from recruits.
For sure.
So take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, what you said, the Marshall Faulk effect is going to come into play at some point eventually.
For sure.
And I'd bet it'd be sooner rather than later.
That would
doesn't
be
necessarily mean the portal.
Right.
But eventually, in the near future, I'd wager before we play a game, there will be some major motion coming from that running back room because of Marshall Faulk, or stemming from him at least.
I agree. It's coming, man.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he's really looking at Texas. 247 has Texas A&M and SMU also as warm for his recruitment. But just looking through,
So Colorado is the only non-Texas school, it seems, that he's even really
for
interested
OV
in.
this summer, yes.
Wow.
I'm looking through. I'm trying to see if he's had any other. I mean, he took an unofficial to Texas last April.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all just what 247 says also. Like, this isn't the complete timeline of everything he's done, but that's what it looks like, man. I mean, everyone's offered him Michigan, Oregon, Tennessee, LSU, Bama, Florida State, Notre Dame, but he kind of wants to stay near home, and Colorado has a history of reaching in Texas,
They sure
getting
do.
quite a bit of recruits, so
They sure do.
we shall see.
I love that quote, though.
Quote of the offseason so far?
I mean, I don't.
If he commits, it is.
You remember me yesterday? I couldn't get over that quote. I'm like, this is actually crazy.
Yep. And with DeKalen Taylor, too. I mean, multiple years of eligibility. Like,
Yeah.
you can start to see the room come together with the pieces they bring in. Obviously, he's not going to be like your 3-down, main back. Like, there's a role for him.
And you know where he's from, too?
Texas?
Texas.
Where's Marshall from? Do you know?
I'm not sure. He strikes me as like a Cali guy for some reason, but that's probably very wrong.
Born in New Orleans.
Nolans.
Born in New Orleans, went to college at San Diego State, of course, and then played in Indianapolis and St. Louis as a pro.
Boys all over.
He was. Shout out Coach Falk. All right.
Definitely.
Sticking with the team, we'll get to Shedeur next segment. CBS Sports put out this list last week, though, and we just didn't have time to get to it. But
Can I talk about something before we get into that?
yeah, go for it, bro.
I tweeted this earlier because I didn't catch it yesterday when we were talking to Jake, and I don't know if you did either.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, because there's a tweet I meant to read yesterday that I didn't read either. Go ahead.
Yesterday, Jake Kreul, during our interview with him, if you missed yesterday's episode, please go check that out. Our interview with Jake Kreul, 5-star edge from IMG, one of Coach Cliff's guys, was on a visit this past weekend to Colorado. A hell of a kid, a really impressive young man, a baller too on the football field, an absolute dog. But he just casually slipped in yesterday during one of his answers that during his official visit this past weekend, a handful of the recruits were at Julian Lewis's house, hanging out, getting to know each other. Juju, the true freshman, hosting a group of recruits. He's
like that, bro.
At his crib.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what you want in your quarterback. Mm-hmm. And he has clearly already taken on some of the traits of his predecessor, Shedeur Sanders. I mean, that is a Shedeur Sanders move if I've ever heard
100%, bro.
So, I mean, that has to make Buff Nation smile when you hear stuff like that the true freshman quarterback, the 5-star, the face of this program in 2026 and moving forward is already taking on the responsibility of helping recruit, because it's going to help him. Getting a Breck Kolojay,
of course,
is going to getting a Deacon Schmidt in a Gavin Mueller potentially, and is going to help him in his future as well. So we love Juju kind of, like I said, hosting people at his crib, by the way. Jake said his house.
Yeah.
And, yeah, Juju got a house. That way I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? The NIL money is real. So that is just awesome that Juju has already taken on that responsibility of being a leader and helping recruit. That's dope stuff.
He's doing it publicly and privately, though. He took to Twitter a couple of days ago as well, tweeted Corey Phillips, just talking about Colorado having the most wide receivers drafted in this most recent NFL draft.
Yeah.
And he's, mentioning that we're going to have a special talent here very, very soon, and Julian Lewis throwing the ball to all of these wide receivers, because they have been recruiting wide receivers over the last couple of years. Juju quote tweets that and says, "Whole squad more hungry than ever. Surrounded by legendary former NFL players as coaches." ...
Fire. Yeah. The Enigma. That boy knows something, man. Shout out Juju.
Shout out Juju. Let's just take our next break.
Break ski.
Shout out to the homies over at Volo Sports. If you don't know what Volo is Denver's most popular provider of adult social sports leagues, pickup games, and events. One of the hardest days in every person's life is knowing when to hang up the cleats, right?
Yeah, it's not easy, man.
We always got to do it at some point, you know. But you can still get the competitive juices flowing, Play a little, what would you play? Some volleyball, Scotty? Some soccer?
Some kickball, maybe?
Kickball. You can do all of that with our friends over at Volo. They got pickleball, basketball, cornhole as well, and many, many more options. But Volo's awesome. You get to meet new people, stay active, stay social, and just find a new friend group, basically. You can play in Lodo, Rhino, Highland, City Park, Cherry Creek, South Broadway, and many, many more. Players can sign up as a free agent, small group, or a full team. And all ability levels and backgrounds are welcome to join. Just use the code DNVR10. You'll get $10 off any Volo Denver league using that code. I see them here all the time. They come and hang out after their games at the DNVR bar all the time, too. So shout out Volo.
And shout out to the squad over at Coors Light, man. Y'all know we love us some Coors Light, man. It's, sometimes life can just get us worked up. I know my boy Jake can relate to that. Sometimes things just happen to us that are out of our control and can have us stressing and worked up and whatnot. But that's why Coors Light is there for us sometimes. Just an ice cold Coors Light just to take the edge off sometimes when you're joining a sporting event. I think some Oklahoma City Thunder fans out there probably really
crazy.
Probably could use some chill time with Coors Light here today. So like I said, shout out to Coors Light. As we know, when the mountains turn blue, it's as cold as the Rockies. Coors Light is cold lagered, cold filtered, and cold packaged for a smoother finish. When you embrace a chill mindset, it's a good time to choose chill and crack open a Coors Light. Make the most out of the times you choose to chill. Choose Coors Light. Get Coors Light delivered straight to your door. All you got to do is visit CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Yeah, crazy NBA games last night.
That was nuts, dog. I almost fell asleep on that too, because you know how in basketball, like when it's close and the fouling stuff, like the last minute of the game can
it
last
takes
like
8
20
years.
minutes. So I was I'm like, I'm gonna go to sleep on this. Thank God I didn't, man. What a shot! What a finish to it. Both of those games last night were cracking.
That's what I'm saying. Insane stuff.
Definitely.
All right. Real quick before we talk Shedeur, I saw this last week and I just wanted to save it and bring it up. Transfer portal gems is the headline. These FCS stars are among the biggest finds by Power 4 teams for the 2025 season. This came out on April 30th. It's from Will Backus at CBS Sports. When did Kalen Taylor commit?
Yeah. Less than 2 weeks ago. It might have been last week. I think it was last week.
Was it before the 30th, though?
It was on the same day as all the Tennessee guys. I can tell you here in a second.
Either way.
Was it before the 30th? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
This list was inspired by Cam Ward, obviously. He started at Incarnate Ward.
Yeah.
Ended up becoming the #1 overall pick. And Colorado's found a handful of these gems. Go ahead.
Wait, what is the 30th? What does that date mean?
That's the day this article was published. I'm just wondering if
he committed on the 30th.
Oh, okay. So he wouldn't have factored in. I wonder if he would have on this list.
Okay.
But the name at the very top of this list, Scotty, is Sincere Brown.
What's this list again? I'm sorry. I was trying to look for the thing. I'm sorry.
Transfer portal gems, the FCS stars who are like the biggest value finds in the portal for Power 4 teams. Sincere Brown is at the very top.
I'm not surprised, bro. Listen, I don't envy Jason Phillips' job this fall. I'm not gonna lie. I know he's
got an easier job than a lot of people on the staff.
Very true, and I know he's going to do a great job. But I don't envy those weekly decisions he's gonna have to make on who's getting this amount of snaps and who do we have on the bench on these type of plays. But I kind of thought about this too, right? I think Colorado is in a situation where they can literally platoon receivers. You know what I'm saying? Like, starting lineup out there in 11 personnel be the Millers and Isaiah Harge. Mm-hmm. You want to go to you pick up a first down. Those 3 come off the field and a new 3 come on. That could be Sincere, Hakeem Williams.
That's some
Joseph Williams.
Baylor type stuff.
I know,
bro.
and I think that's kind of where you're at with the receiver room.
Sure.
Like, it's not really like 1 for 1. Like, no, those 3 come off, a new 3 come on.
Like a hockey shift.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. A platoon shift, a hockey shift. And Sincere Brown, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field.
I agree.
And I know we've talked about it last week. We were asked about our starters. We didn't mention him as a projected starter, but that's not saying that we don't think he's going to play. Mm-hmm. But it's going to be highly contested in that receiver room because it's a lot of dudes in that room who can play. Hakeem Williams included. Mm-hmm. The guys who are, returning for Colorado, Sincere Brown included. It's going to be tough decisions to be made, but it's a good problem to have.
And Sincere Brown, I mean, again, he's a graduate transfer. He came here to play. He will.
Him and Terrell Timmons are the only seniors.
Yeah.
On that receiver room.
No, they're going to be a factor.
Yeah.
We'll find out to what extent, but Colorado, slowly developing a track record the last 2 years with these graduates coming in with Zay, LaJonte, and Will last year.
Period.
You come to Colorado as a grad transfer, you want to prove yourself, you go to the NFL. That's what the last 2 years have said, basically.
No doubt about it. And they have proved that you can get to where you're trying to go from Colorado, which is the NFL.
Yeah, and going back to what we just ended last segment with, I mean, Julian and Corey are talking about it basically on Twitter. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. And
the guys you just mentioned are literally in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Zay Weaver's in the NFL.
Yep.
DeJounte Wester just got drafted. Will Shepard just got an NFL opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Other guys who are on this list, do you remember Cole Wisniewski?
The safety?
Yep.
From NDSU?
Yep, he ended up going to Texas Tech. He makes this list. Mm-hmm. Texas Tech also had Hunter Zambrano. He's an offensive lineman from Illinois State who also made this list. I think that's it for the Big 12, though. Not really guys we really talked about on this list as well, but it's all, I mean, South Dakota State, North Dakota State.
Did your guy Shamar Brown make that list? Or I don't think he might have committed after the running back from NDSU.
He did not make this list.
I think he committed after. He ended up going to, I think it was Miami, actually. I think he ended up going to Miami.
Right, yeah. Yeah, this list is not a week old yet, but it's getting there. So
interesting. Yeah, man, that's Sincere Brown. I'm excited for that, man. 6'5", moving the way he does.
Mm-hmm.
Sheesh.
Mm-hmm. All right. Do you want to do the Shedeur?
Yeah, let's
What
do
the
that.
coaches said or the jersey number thing?
Let's go with the jersey number thing.
All right. I don't have much energy for this, to be completely honest.
For right. That's crazy.
Everyone's talking about it. Everyone's all up in
Yeah.
arms about it.
Let's talk about it. Shedeur was given number 12 for rookie minicamp here at the Browns.
Yeah.
It's not
Great quarterback number,
doesn't-
by the way. I don't know
Yeah,
why we're
I mean,
complaining.
Are people complaining? I mean,
Yes.
people are complaining. People are complaining.
100% they are.
And I think the biggest reason is that Buff Nation picked up a new enemy number 1. And his name is DeAndre Carter. Which
The dude's just trying to make some money, bro. Like, why?
I know DeAndre Carter got on his Twitter today like, what did I do? If he didn't already know what he was doing. But yes, DeAndre Carter is going to be wearing number 2 for the Cleveland Browns. I mean, DeAndre Carter is a journeyman wide receiver /
If
kick
he makes
returner.
the roster,
If he makes
exactly.
the
Yes.
roster. He was actually on the Bears this past year on a 1-year deal.
Yeah,
he's been
on like 8 teams.
exactly. So again, this is just for a rookie minicamp and for leading up to the season. And the Cleveland Browns account made it very clear that these numbers aren't the numbers that they're going to be wearing during the season. But I mean, yeah, if you couldn't get 2, I think 12 was the best case scenario. I mean, that was
Absolutely.
it's a personal favorite number of mine. I wore them my senior year of high school in football. Obviously, Tom Brady mode. I think that probably played a bit into the decision for Shedeur to choose 12 once 2 wasn't an option anymore because of the veteran. But yeah, and people don't need to.
If you're
make too
going
much
after
of this.
DeAndre Carter for
Yeah.
this, you gotta chill. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, again, a 5th round pick, although it is Shedeur Sanders, was never really going to be able to have first pick of the number he wants.
Yes.
And again, this is not a set in stone either. He could very well be the week 1 starter wearing number 2 on his back.
Yeah, sure.
So,
And either way, if he's not,
yeah.
I'm
And if
not
he's
gonna
not,
lose
12
sleep.
is literally fire. I'm
Of
not gonna
course
lie.
it is.
12 is fire.
Him and Trav are going to be wearing the same number if that's the case. Obviously, the Tom Brady connection.
That'd be fire.
Someone in the chat earlier said 12 times 12 equals 144. Like,
And 12 is the reverse of 21.
exactly. Like
It's a lot to like. I'm not gonna lie.
It could be way, way, way worse, bro. Like, I'm not going to complain about this at all.
They could have gave bro 19.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Or Belichick. Give him a 47
Yeah.
for rookie camp.
Earn
you know what
it.
I mean? Yeah.
Earn it. So I don't think Shedeur tripping. And from what I know from Shedeur, I'm sure he's not tripping about that.
100% agree. I don't think he cares at all.
Did you see this from Reddit College Football earlier today?
What'd they say now?
An anonymous Colorado fan
Oh, good Lord, bro.
identifying himself as John Doe is suing the NFL for $100 million due to the emotional distress caused by Shedeur Sanders dropping to the 5th round of the draft.
Hilarious. I love the effort, but geez, man.
That's crazy. That boy said, I'm going to get paid off of this. He said, I got to get something. I went through a lot. I got to get something for my struggles. That is insane, dog.
I bet you that's like,
Think it's fake?
yeah, that's someone trying to make Colorado look better. I'm sure.
Let me see. Oh, they dropped the link. Let me see.
Are you gonna pull up all the court documents and stuff now?
Yeah, this looks like a legit, bro. This is legit, bro. It was filed 4 days ago on the 2nd of May.
From where?
In Atlanta.
It could be someone in the chat.
It could be.
Which one of
And
y'all
this
was
y'all.
that?
Let us know. Y'all better not hide. I bet this was Wayne Morgan the whole time. This was definitely Wayne Morgan, the meatloafer. He was like, I need some more. I need this 100 M's for more meatloaf.
It's crazy,
Bro, this is
though.
crazy. It says the plaintiff attended the Colorado Buffaloes' first game against the TCU Horned Frogs on September 2nd, 2023, witnessing firsthand
What a
Sanders'
day.
exceptional talent
What
and
a day.
potential as a quarterback. That's crazy. This is like a legit
I mean,
lawsuit, bro.
I get it. I saw that game in person, and I'm like, you can't tell me what
Right.
you can't tell me I didn't see what I saw. Like,
This is a legit lawsuit, bro. That's crazy.
the name was just a John
It
Doe.
was
They
a
didn't
John
give an
Doe.
actual name.
Yeah.
So
Wait, hold on. What Ivan talking about, to be fair, that was all of us in the chat, low key.
I mean,
Like,
shoot,
some
that
gotta
was
be
us
done.
too.
I'm glad somebody did it. Somebody had to put this on paper and, make it be known that what happened was not okay, and that there was a lot of distress caused as a result of the NFL playing around.
A lot of bullshit is what it was. Speaking on that bullshit, though, Adam Rittenberg of ESPN spoke to some Big 12 coaches about what happened at the NFL draft a couple weeks ago. Just on the fall. So this says, a defensive coordinator who faced Sanders wasn't surprised by the initial hesitancy, saying, I thought he'd fall, but not like this. Another Big 12 coach said, I was shocked. You never know what the interview process, how that went. I thought besides Cam Ward, he was the second best guy. This is, I don't know if this is the same. These are all anonymous quotes, so I don't know if it's the same person, different people, whatever. Next quote, though, says, the NFL teams probably figure once it gets to that point, is it even worth dealing with anymore? But there's no way around that. If you're not drafting the guy to be your starter, it doesn't really matter where you pick the guy. A group of 5 coach said, if you're Tampa and you've got Baker Mayfield, do you want the noise associated with Sanders being your backup quarterback? There's a lot of teams that don't need quarterbacks. Yes and no. The NFL is a quarterback league. And I've seen people go crazy for backup quarterbacks, spending money in free agency, spending draft picks they didn't have to when they had much bigger needs.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, and I mentioned this too, last year 6 quarterbacks were taken in the top 12 picks. This was a down year in terms of need for quarterbacks, but not to the extent where Shedeur became a 5th-round pick. Another quote says, I see him competing hard on the grass, trying to win the job, making the team better, but making the room better? Question mark. People have taken a lot worse, an SEC defensive assistant said, in terms of players with questions. And that's another thing, too, because the guy hasn't done anything. He's never been in trouble. He doesn't drink. Doesn't go out and party all the time. But
I mean, literally in this draft, there were dudes with bigger question marks, off the field concerns that were taken first, second round.
Absolutely.
In this draft.
Yeah. I mean, we can go back to the Laramie Tunsil stuff. I remember the Broncos drafted Shane Ray. He got arrested for I think possession of marijuana or something like a week before the draft.
Yeah.
You want to talk about lapse of judgment? Like that's that stuff, man. And then Shedeur's just getting picked apart. Last quote though. He's got a bigger, stronger body. Does a great job of extending plays. Got the crap beat out of him with a subpar offensive line. This is from a Big 12 coach. But how many times did he make a rhythm and timing throw in a window? It's either quick stuff out to the boundary or extended plays that could get the deep ball. That would be my question. Is he completely there enough to be a first-round pick? That doesn't mean there aren't reasons he shouldn't have gone 2nd through 4th, and that's 100% where I'm at. I would have said Shedeur was a first-round draft pick, but if he went in the 2nd round and you cited football reasons, I would have
tripped.
I would have said you're wrong, but fine
For sure.
The fact that he fell to the 5th round though was egregious, and clear that there's something else going on.
Not about football, bro.
No,
it was not about football, and I think Jimmy Horn Jr. was on. I forgot where I saw, but I saw some clip recently. He was back in Boulder working out with Shedeur, and he was just talking on Shedeur's behalf about just what Shedeur had to go through. And you were talking about from that one quote where he was like, "Dude is just tough. Like got the mess beat out of him the last couple of years." And yes, some of the sacks were his fault, but the majority of them were not. They were due to poor offensive line play. And like Jimmy was saying yesterday, like a lot of quarterbacks around the country, they would have folded underneath that pressure. They would have, a lot of these quarterbacks out here like playing in the safe lane, when Shedeur was in the fast lane, like really had to get it out the mud. You knew you were throwing the ball 40+ times a game with no running game, with a poor offensive line, but you still had to go score damn near 30+ points a game. And he did that for 2 straight years.
And like 3 of those games, Travis was hurt too.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know, man. And I'm trying to look right now, like how many times Dylan Gabriel was like sacked this past season. I'm sure it was
not
you can
much.
Put it on one finger,
Bo Nix was the least sacked quarterback in college football, I think, 2 years ago.
He actually sacked more than I thought.
How
21 times this past year.
21?
But I mean, I don't know. It's going to be a fascinating battle. I know that Shedeur Sanders, to me, to my eyes, the most talented quarterback in that Browns room. And I think once they get him on the grass, once they get him on the field, everybody in that building is going to realize that and know that. And honestly, at this point, a lot of people in that building probably already do know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, facts. Just for the record, Bo Nix was sacked 10 times his 2 years at Oregon. Crazy. It's ridiculous.
His two years?
2 years, 10 times, 5 in each year.
Jesus.
I mean, they just had Josh Connerly. Didn't he go in the first round?
Sure did.
Their other tackle, Cornelius, I think, went. And they've just been putting guys. I mean, Penny Sewell, like starting with him basically. What was that, 7 years ago? Like,
yeah.
Oregon's been putting offensive linemen to the NFL. I mean, the Broncos drafted Bo Nix as center, I think, 2 years ago as well, too. So, I think that's it. You got anything else, bro?
Bro, I just got one more thing that I saw.
Okay.
That caught my eye. And I've talked about this before. I've talked about the fact that with the College Football Playoff Committee, right?
Mm-hmm.
How I don't understand how you could be affiliated with the school, right? And be a part of the College Football Playoff Committee that decides who gets into the College Football Playoff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that has just always been a conflict of interest to me. And I've talked about that on the show, if you remember that.
Right.
But that was solidified to me yesterday when it was revealed that Nebraska's athletic director, Troy Dannon, is joining the College Football Playoff Committee. Nebraska's current athletic director is going to be one of a handful of guys who decides who gets into the College Football Playoff and who doesn't.
Rick George was on the committee.
Was or is?
Was a few years ago. I don't know. Is he still?
I don't know if he still is, but I know he was.
Yeah, he definitely was.
That's just
no. I'm
crazy
with you,
to me,
though.
bro.
Like, why can't we just find like, you can go into a bar anywhere in this damn country and find 10 guys talking football who can debate who the 12 best teams are,
or even just former players.
Yes,
and maybe that's there's going to be some bias inherently.
What is
in
Saban
everybody.
doing? Ask Saban.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And I think that's who I said I would love to see him be like the commissioner of the College Football Playoff. You feel me? But it's crazy, like how you can be. How can you say there's no bias there when you're the athletic director of a program? And I don't think Nebraska's going to be in playoff contention this year, but you never know. Mm-hmm. And if they're on the fringe, if they're a 9-win team, they might have somebody in there who'll be like, oh, I can see it.
No, the way they've handled it the last, I don't know, was it 10 years now or whatever? However long we've had the playoff, they've had these people on the committee this entire time. But they always go like, "Oh, we make sure they're out of the room when we talk about their team." Do you think,
bro, be for real,
bro? They have biases against other teams too. It's not just their team. Like,
dope slabs. That's a good idea. It should only be College Football Hall of Famers who decide that.
Sure.
Or Heisman winners.
Yeah, give it to the Heisman House.
It's just weird to me. Like, how you can't find nobody in college football who knows about the game, who's been around it for a long time, that isn't literally directly involved with the university. But I don't get how that's not
Give
a possibility.
Me Colin Cowherd, Daniel Jeremiah, and Todd McShay for all I care. I mean, I know they watch film.
Yeah, you know what? Exactly.
I know they watch all these teams.
Like, there's no way Nebraska's AD is watching anybody else other than Nebraska.
Of course not.
At least consistently.
No.
He might catch a game on TV every now and then. He's not. Come on.
Yeah, he's sitting there, the Sunday after a college football Saturday, going back, rewinding Yeah, there's no way that's happening.
There's no way. We got to be better.
There's a lot that needs to be fixed with the playoff, man. But at least we have a playoff. We could be. I mean, I don't know. Some people still say they want the BCS, so who knows?
That's all I got, though.
I think that's it for me as well. All right, chat.
Chatsky.
What's going on?
Talk to me. What's the word?
Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're having another guest tomorrow, correct?
Yeah. Have another guest tomorrow, mate. Y'all gonna want to tune in for that one.
You have anything in the chat? No. Damn, chat.
I know DeAndre Carter somewhere sick right now. Like, what did I do?
Bro, he's yeah. I think we've
finna feel the wrath.
He's
Buff
just-
Nation.
He's gonna open up Instagram or something at some point and just wonder, like, oh my god, did I tweet something in my sleep? Like, what's going on?
He gonna be like, I don't even want to know more. Y'all can have it. And somebody pointed out like the numbers he's worn in his career too.
Shedeur?
No, DeAndre.
Oh, DeAndre?
Carter. It's low key wild.
I mean, look, man, the guy.
He's
I'm
worn.
searching
These are the
right
numbers he's worn: 16, 14, 19, 82, 11, 3, 1, and now 2.
I mean, bro, he was he undrafted?
I'm not sure.
I'm not seeing a draft. I think so. He was
think
on
so.
2 teams his rookie season.
Yeah.
The dude has just been scratching and clawing for like 7 years.
And you gotta respect dudes
Of
like that who
course.
can hang around as long as he has.
That's what I'm like. Oh, what?
I know.
It
I
doesn't
didn't like
matter.
it. I didn't like that. We don't need to be
No.
especially for something that isn't set in stone.
Well,
You know?
and when people are like trying to use that against him, like, oh, he's just a journeyman. He's got what 1,700 receiving yards. It's like we don't have to do this, man.
I swear.
We really don't.
I swear we don't. Scotty Wayne Morgan, the meatloafer, says Scotty, the Browns called, says Shedeur Cam is number 2, but you need to stop. He's some meatloaf. Bro, I know Shedeur don't rock with meatloaf. I can merch that. I know he don't. There's just no way. Cause bro, his favorite food is steak, so there's just no way you can rock with steak and meatloaf. There's just no way. Can't do both.
I understand that, but if you believe that, you're missing out. MLN. I'd be interested to see how CU measures up facilities-wise, staff, coaching, ambience versus other blue chip schools, Bama, LSU, Georgia, Florida State, Oregon, etc. What can CU do to up its recruiting game? I don't know if CU can do much to up its recruiting game in those departments. They got to win games at this point. I think that's just where we're at.
Yeah.
Just win games and everything will fall into place at that point.
For sure.
I mean,
in
it's not
terms
like-
of stepping up his recruiting game, I mean, we talk about some of these guys that have been on visits to Colorado recently. You look at their visit list. I mean, Colorado is in the mix with the Texases and the Georgias
sure.
and the Michigans in terms of guys that they're in the mix for. So I think they're kind of right where they were expected to be after, year 2 of Coach Prime era.
Yep.
And obviously, there's still a lot of room to improve, particularly on the recruiting side of things. And actually, this is another thing I kind of wanted to bring up if we're kind of short on questions.
Yeah, go for it.
People yesterday after our J. Kreul interview, and this is a small group of people, but large enough to where it was noticeable to me, where people are just assuming because J. Kreul is a 5-star recruit with visits set up to Texas and Oklahoma, that Colorado just, for some reason, people think that Colorado can attain a J. Kreul or a player of his caliber, which is just absolutely insane to me. When you just landed a 5-star quarterback who people were saying the same things about last year, right? Juju's not coming up.
He wants to go win a Heisman Trophy at USC.
Why would he come to Colorado?
Yep.
And after a Jordan Seaton came to Colorado, and people said the same thing about the best tackle in that class, he's not going to go to Colorado. Why would he go to Colorado? Like, I've just seen, I think just the one too many people say that, oh yeah, he's not coming here just based on what? Colorado was one of his 5 official visits that he took. Colorado made his top 12 and then made his next cut for one of his 5 official visits. Why is Colorado out in some people's mind for a talent like a Jake Kreul, 5-star talent? I don't get that based off the last 2 years.
Since we're short, let's just talk about this because I've noticed this too on social media. There's a lot of like negative energy around the recruiting or like how the recruiting has gone and stuff so far.
Yeah.
Which I don't really understand because I feel like the roster was already pretty strong. We spent all spring talking about how strong this roster is. You lost maybe, 3 or 4 players who were actually players for you.
Yeah.
You go and get guys to replace him in Tayon Parks. You didn't get an edge yet. I understand that if you're talking about Tajay and you're worried about that one. They got a whole new offensive line basically. Like,
Yeah.
I understand you. It's proof of concept at this point. You know, show me on the field and then I'll believe you type of thing. But what else could you want from them at this point?
And thank you for putting that on the screen, Dion. This comment is another common trope that I've been seeing. Jay Kreul and other recruits using CU for leverage or for clout or for fame. Jay Kreul is a 5-star recruit. Every college wants him.
Top 30 player.
He does not need more clout, I promise you. Jay Kreul does not need more fame. Like, it's not that. These kids are not using, I mean, it happens. I'm sure it happens. It has happened. That, you know, a recruit might tease Colorado or something to get their name more out there. That happens.
Of course.
But we should not sit here and accuse players of doing that before we, you know, I don't think we should be doing that at all, especially before a decision is made. You're acting like you know what a young man has in his heart or what he's going to do. That's not cool. I don't think that's fair either.
Bro, I've been preaching that for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to Boo Carter, Charles Lester III, people lost their minds over those decisions from those guys. And they, you know, again, throughout those same things, clout, you know, kind of like attacking them, their Instagram pages and stuff. It's like, in this era of college football, you are hurting yourself doing that.
Yeah.
You never know. I mean, this is why even the kid who, the quarterback who committed to Nebraska, remember how he was like an Illinois kid or whatever? Did you see this
Trey
video?
Taylor.
Yeah. Did you see
And
this
he
video?
teased him? Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
He was like,
even
I'm
that.
staying home, and he threw the Illinois hat and put on the Nebraska.
Exactly.
Yeah.
How people were saying that was dumb and not wise, you know, for the future in this current industry of college football. Same goes for the fan base. Like,
For sure.
if you could just be a little bit better, add a little more, you know, Jesus.
Turned up.
Perception and like context to what's actually going on to the situation. Like, it's not live or die by every single recruit that makes a decision.
Exactly.
It's really not.
And this is another thing that just kind of irks me sometimes too, where people would be like, we need more 4- and 5-star recruits. Why are we not going after the 4- or 5-star recruits? And then when they do, people will be like, oh, they're not coming here anyway. You can't have it both ways. Do you want to go after them or not? And if you do go after them, you're going to lose some of those battles.
Yeah.
You're going to lose some of those battles. But if you don't try or put yourself in the ring, you're never going to win any of those battles, like you did with Jordan Seaton and like you did with Julian Lewis. And there will be another one of those guys, those caliber guys in this 2026 class. Believe that.
Yeah. I don't know where this has come from or when it started, but I think that's why I kind of got like hated on for the Xavier Hill left guard thing. Is like, like everyone just like is freaking out. Like everything is, every move is like whether it's going to determine each game or something. And it kind of does in context, but like, let's relax a bit. It's April, or it was April. It's May now.
And this is not the majority of the fan base.
Of course not.
This is not the fan base at whole by any means. It's a very small, loud majority sometimes, and that's really all it is.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, Mr. Hillsman, you miss every shot you don't take.
Facts.
Period.
And I don't want to like tell people what to do and stuff, but it's just we just got to relax a little bit. It's okay.
For sure.
We're in a good spot.
And kids see that too.
Yes,
Tweak
yes,
out and
dude.
crash out. They see that.
Especially when it's like we're headed to overtime. If you're watching on your television, head on over to DNVR.com and we're going to wrap up the show there. When you see, and I'm not trying to like target anyone here, but like when you see target accounts who are obviously close to some players and like they obviously have some sort of relationship, maybe even played a part in getting them connected with Colorado, and then they like turn like on people when they leave or like make decisions or they don't get guys, like I don't know, man. It just rubs me the wrong way. Like you can't have it both ways. I'm sorry.
You can't.
So.
Man. Rant over. I just felt like I had to get that off.
Well, it's the off season. I guess it's time for rants and stuff of the sort.
Mars, chill.
Mars, you gotta relax, bro.
Let go of hell is right.
Let go of hell, Lloyd. Thank you. Exactly, bro. That's exactly it, man.
Yearly reminder.
I'm just reading comments here. We're gonna wrap up in just a second.
Jelani, that's hilarious.
All right. We'll be back tomorrow. We will have another guest tomorrow. Talking more recruiting too.
Recruiting season.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it.
And shout out to Cliff for the little tease too. We'll see what we find out for this next weekend.
Shout out Cliff.
Let's go Buffs.
Squad.
We all silly like